This is my 2013 Toyota FJ Cruiser. I replaced the stock lights with these LED lights. I replaced both the headlight and the turn signal or the marker light. The issue I'm having is that I want these LED lights that go all the way around here. I want those to go on with the daytime running light setting. But right now, when I turn on the daytime running lights, the headlight goes on because Toyota, the original lights in the FJ Cruiser, don't have separate daytime running lights. They just use the headlight in a dimmed setting. So when you turn on daytime running lights, the headlight comes on in a dim setting. So I need to figure out a way to divert the power from the daytime running light switch to these LED lights. Right now, these LED strips are being powered by the park light or the marker light. So I need to figure out how to do that. When I installed these headlights, I unplugged the daytime running light connector, which is located right behind the driver's side light. It's kind of right behind this little cover. You unplug that so that your LED headlights are not always on when the daytime running light setting and above is on your car. So if you unplug that, it disables the daytime running light. So right now those strips are being powered by that green wire. That green wire is the marker light or the park light. And there's one on the other side as well. Those green wires are what I need. So if I can figure out where those green wires start, I figure they've got to be somewhere between here and the switch on the steering wheel. That's if I can use that existing wiring and somehow just power it with daytime running light power so that when the switch goes on to daytime running light, it powers those green wires, the LED strips come on, that would be perfect. Now, with the daytime running light setting disabled or the plug unplugged, you can accomplish driving these without the headlights on and these marker lights on. However, it also dims all the cabin lights because it's a nighttime driving mode. So the tail lights come on, the mirror lights come on, the lights, all the lights in the dash dim because it thinks it's a nighttime driving mode. And that's really, in the daytime, it's really difficult to see the time and the radio and things like that. So I want it to just function like it should, with these going on with the daytime running light setting, which doesn't dim the interior lights. Here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna get daytime running light power right here in the fuse box. This is as easy as it can be because this add a fuse I have put in here plugs right into the daytime running light fuse. So if you remove your cover, you'll see that the daytime running light fuse is right there, the 7.5 DRL, which is right here. So I bought this from the auto parts store. This is an add a fuse. So you take the fuse out, you plug this in. It comes with about a 6-inch pigtail. Then you add in 2 fuses into this side, one for your new wire and one for the existing one you took out. So what I did is I added, this is going to be for my power. This is going to power my daytime running lights. You can, if you want. I'm doing this maybe a little more complicated just because I don't want to do any permanent changes to the vehicle. But if you were just adding halos or something to your existing headlights, you can simply get your power, your daytime running light power here, and then run it forward up to your light, and then run one over to the other side to the light. You'll also have to add ground wires too, or they're not going to come on. That would be the simplest way to do it if you're just adding halos. However, mine is a combo package of marker light and headlight, and the existing wiring is already in here, and I didn't want to cut that and redo anything. So I really just wanted to find these green wires and connect them to this. I found those green wires. I looked at the wiring diagram online and found where those green wires are most easily accessible, and that's inside the cabin fuse box under the steering wheel. So I need to send this power wire in there, into that fuse box by the steering wheel. So as you can see, this wire drops down through this access hole. I send it down and under the box, comes out underneath there, and I run it alongside the wiring harness, and then I send it through the grommet here. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I did that. I think different model years of FJ have different grommets right here. I looked online and some people had a separate empty grommet up above this big one, the size of a quarter or something that they use. Mine didn't have that, but I did have, Toyota puts in an empty channel that leads right into the cabin, and it's just a rubber nipple that's made to be cut off, and then it has a tube inside that you can run through. So I did that. I just kind of sliced that rubber nipple, and you can see where this red wire is going in. It goes right in through that hole and into the cabin. Once in the cabin, the wire comes along. I routed it along the wiring harness, and it makes its way over to the back side of the fuse box. That fuse panel is right here. The front marker lights are these green wires in this plug. I'm going to take this plug out and then use a little tool to pull out the two green wires. There's one here and then one that's tucked in you can't see, but to remove this plug, there's a tab you push in right here. It's kind of hard to get to. There's not a lot of room, but if you can kind of there it is. So I unclipped this harness holder right here, this cable routing holder, so that I can move these wires out of the way so that I can get this plug out. So if we look at the back side of it, the two solid green wires are the right and left marker lights. So we should be able to insert a tool. We'll release those terminal connections and slide them right out. Here's a close-up of the wire plug. And to remove I took one out already. To remove these, there's a little plastic clip that holds them in. So not all these bays are being used. You can see the ones that have wires, but these do not. And I'll show you on a bay that doesn't have a wire, but there's this plastic keeper, and I'm just using a very small standard screwdriver. So rather than coming straight in, you come sort of down and get the screwdriver underneath the keeper and then pry it up. And then what I do is use some needle nose pliers to grab. I leave the screwdriver in there. This is a small enough screwdriver that it's not heavy. I wedge it in there, pry it up, and then leave it sitting like this and get some needle nose pliers to grab the wire and kind of gently pull. You don't want to pull too hard in case it's not quite free of the keeper, but it'll come out pretty easily if the keeper is up. The two terminals have been removed and I've reinserted the plug. So now I will run the wire from the DRL fuse. This is the connector I bought at the auto parts store that I'll use to connect under the dash by the instrument panel in there. And it's difficult to see, but those two green wires right there are the park lights. So I will fish that out so you can see this a little better. So here is that red wire, my new power wire, and it is connected to this connector that I bought at the auto parts store that's got a black and red connector, but I'm just using them for the same purpose. So I combined the black and the red together, connected it to my new red power wire here that comes from the daytime running light fuse. So now I just have to plug in the white plug and then sort of push the wires off to the side, my new wires off to the side, and that should work.